The NDP has been desperately trying to win over young voters for years now, but after pumping millions and millions of dollars into trying to get young people and failing, they're now at the worst point they've ever been at in the entire party's history, leading people to thinking that it might actually be virtually impossible to get young people to go to the polls. Until some random guy with an apparently hard to pronounce name did it on his first try in a matter of weeks. I did as much research as I could to try to find out why Zohran Mamdani won his New York primary and why he is set to become New York's next mayor. In an attempt to try to figure out why, for some reason, Canada's new Democratic Party, along with basically every other modern progressive party across the Western world, has mercilessly tried and failed to capture young people's attention, I boiled it down to what I believe are 5 things that led to his victory in New York. But I also figured out where the NDP went wrong, and most importantly, in an attempt to try to save the Canadian left a clear set of instructions for actually implementing these ideas, because I can guarantee that if they try to follow all 5 of these, I guarantee they're going to mess one up, specifically the last one and the most important one. Like the first thing that led to Mamdani's success, becoming a member. You may think that the longest tier 3 member of this channel is actually the beloved community icon, Indigenous guy, channel shout out here, but it's actually Zohran Mamdani, so go be like him and become a channel member today. If you want to be a party or a movement or a candidate or whatever on the populist left, you need to master the art of focus. Something that the NDP is notoriously bad at. I don't need to tell you this, but during the mayoral election, Zohran Mamdani ran one of the greatest online social media campaigns ever established, producing quick, online, short-form, and positive pieces of media constantly. Now, as a person who is Generation Z, I will not lie, they did come off as like slightly, how do I say this, like millennial The Office coded, but whatever. But even if I did feel that way a little bit, I'll still say that they're probably some of the best ads in the digital age I've ever seen for a political candidate. A few days ago, Zohran's YouTube channel actually released a new video.
Hello, my friends. I have to come clean. I have something to hide. Many things, in fact, because we're doing a scavenger hunt. No. Actually, we are doing a scavenger hunt across New York City tomorrow, Sunday, August 24th, starting at 2 p.m. Here's how it'll work. You'll solve a series of clues all related to a very particular theme in New York City history, each of which will take you to the next location, all accessible by public transit. When you arrive at the location, look for a campaign volunteer who will mark off your card and give you a clue to the next location. At the first stop, you'll get this card. At the final stop, you'll find a special surprise, not a wad of cash. So make sure you go all the way to the end. But don't take too long. You need to get to the final location between 5:30 and 7 p.m. Stay tuned for the first clue in a video tomorrow morning. Figure out the location and meet us there at 2 p.m. on Sunday to get your card and start the hunt. I'll see you tomorrow with the first clue.
Now, to anyone who just watches this ad, I don't blame you for questioning why I would put this ad here at all in the first place. Arguably speaking, one of the least focused things a campaign can do is a goddamn scavenger hunt. I won't show all of them now, but the first hint of the scavenger hunt should show you where you're going to go with this.
I wouldn't be the youngest mayor. That distinction belongs to a guy who was kind of a star of Notting Hill and was a part of an old New York political machine. To begin the hunt, meet us in front of the Gilded Age Hall where that mayor spent a lot of his time.
Hugh J. Grant was New York's youngest mayor, and although he is mostly like today, he is known for being a part of Tammany Hall, a group that basically owned the New York political scene back in the day, especially the Irish political scene. Already you understand where this whole scavenger hunt is going. It's about New York mayors and corruption, but the reason the scavenger hunt might seem dumb to you is because we're Canadian. The scavenger hunt is about New York. It focuses on getting young New Yorkers out into the community and in the area, which is consistent with his message of like caring about people. It's incredibly focused on the history of New York and its leaders, and most importantly, it all works as an amazing attack ad because after the event happened, someone won the prize and ended up showing what he won, which was a bag of sour cream and onion Hers potato chips, the exact brand and flavor of chips that Zohran Mamdani was eating at the start, yes, but more importantly, the exact bag of chips that were allegedly used in an example of blatant corruption where an Eric Adams staffer, the current mayor of New York, by the way, handed a reporter from the city an empty bag of potato chips with an envelope of cash inside of it 2 weeks ago, making it a line from earlier.
Final stop, you'll find a special surprise, not a wad of cash.
Make that much more sense now. Now, if any Canadians are watching this and don't really care about this, that's my point exactly. Zohran is incredibly focused on New York politics. Incredibly. Now, for some reason, every single white guy who makes progressive videos on the internet has a legal obligation to mention the halal inflation ad when talking about Zohran Mamdani.
New York is suffering from a crisis, and it's called halalflation.
So I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I will use it as an example of like a 3-step pattern to why he's so focused. He's entirely focused on the city of New York, making an ad while inarguably the most New York-themed city ever, New York City. The other people in his videos aren't politicians from other places. They're everyday working people from New York City. And to extend that, it's always about you. It's always about you or them or him or her or that person. It's almost never about Zohran himself, except for his first ad, which was entirely about himself. But besides that, it's almost never about him. He shows you he's fighting for you by just being where you are and having a style that's slightly homemade, but also including himself, listening to the people of New York City. In 2021, the NDP put some of its money, time, effort, and all other types of resources into running an Animal Crossing island to try to win over young voters. Reading a Vice article which was published, curious Animal Crossing players can now step into a very orange-hued private NDP island set up in the final days of Canada's federal election campaign. A virtual village / virtual campaign headquarters / homage to leader Jagmeet Singh. I'm being dead serious right now. Behind the mini NDP signs and an archway of silver and gold balloons, they lost this election, by the way. Players can duck into a virtual, behind the mini NDP signs and an archway of silver and gold balloons, players can duck into a virtual campaign office with a bedroom for Singh upstairs, complete with his signature orange tuxedo and a bike in the corner, an art gallery with works by Indigenous artists, and a village of cute cottages along Layton Lane, a tribute to beloved former NDP leader Jack Layton. Respectfully, who in their right mind? We all know that there's no place more Canadian than a virtual island made by a Japanese gaming company where you work to try and pay off your mortgage. Well, actually, now that I think about it, Singh's public number is everywhere on the island. Visitors can text it to get his workout routine, congratulate him and his wife, Gurkiran Kaur Sidhu, on their expected, I'm so sorry about that. I'm actually bad, I'm sorry. On their expected child, and get their recipe for his Punjab poutine recipe by visiting a virtual Punjabi poutine truck. As with every other type of campaign event, the NDP's island is trying to make its leaders seem more personable. He's like everyone else, Jagmeet Singh said. He plays video games, and he deeply, passionately cares about the future of this country and where we're headed. It's a mix of taking the fun side of him, but also the serious side. Now we do a silly one. I feel like the NDP here is like hoping and praying that they have another leader like Jack Layton, and they absolutely don't. So they're just trying to force him down mid and down people's throats. Guys, maybe the reason the NDP aren't connecting with voters and no one likes Jagmeet Singh is because they don't know enough about him yet. Good idea, Martha. Maybe the poutine recipe is what's going to put us over the edge in the final days of the election. And the NDP says it's working. The party says that there were over 1,000 visits to its Animal Crossing island in its first 24 hours, with a 21% growth in traffic over a 48-hour period that it directly attributes to viewership through Animal Crossing and Twitch streams. Some of the Twitch streamers who followed along or uploaded the NDP games to their own accounts are very popular. One of them, Hassan Abi, has 1.5 million followers. A lot of people, if they're over 25, don't realize they're celebrities, but are massive means for a particular demographic. Life So says of Twitch streamers, Animal Crossing in particular is popular with players 18 and 40 years old, a key demographic for the NDP. Getting in touch with Bernie Sanders and AOC or Hassan Abi and playing Among Us doesn't mean anything that a Steve Boots, rest in peace, inshallah, or a Rachel Gilmore, or even a National Rational or a Surfs would. What are you doing? Politics is local, and they're absolutely nothing but even that, this is a horribly unfocused campaign. But I think they clued into the fact that they do this. So instead of just talking about Jagmeet Singh a bunch, they had him say a bunch of things like, he'll fight for you a million times. He's gonna fight for you. He'll fight for you. But even that, like, I'm hoping all of you can see how this sounds like someone who, if full of themselves, honest to God, trying to listen to people that are telling them that they are talking about themselves too much and that they should make other people feel heard about what they care about and not told what they care about. And so that person listened to them, but didn't fully understand them. So they just keep saying things like, I'm gonna fight for you, I'm gonna fight for you. Like, they got it in spirit, but they're not actually listening. But arguably, the biggest component to this is that Zohran didn't try to do everything. He just did short form content and he killed it. Something that, if I have to give credit where credit is due, and you have no idea how much this hurts to utter, but I have to give credit because Pierre Poilievre ran a more similar campaign to Zohran Mamdani than Jagmeet Singh did, and that is crazy. He made quick, online, short-form content that went to people's feeds, and he hammered on the issues that people cared about. Obviously, he talked about himself because sometimes you have to, but his videos were always more about caring about you. But at least Pierre spoke about the issues that you cared about. If you ask a Mamdani supporter what their one policy is, the one policy that if you had to guess, another person would also guess, you would say rent freeze. And that's good. I mean, I don't know if rent freezes are good. The jury is still out on that one, guys. But it's good that it attacks an issue that is central to his core targeted demographic. Young people don't shut up about home prices or the cost of rent or all those things. So having a politician making that a cornerstone of their campaign, so much so that Mamdani can literally go, freeze and then the crowd will go, rent, makes young people that much more likely to vote for him. But, and I'm not knocking this policy, I'm not knocking the policy here. This is merely political strategy. If you ask an NDP person what the one policy that Jagmeet Singh had that you think is his policy, like if Canadian Smash Bros existed and you had to gather all the eras of Jagmeet Singh and combine them into one playable character, and then you had to put this policy as one of his superpowers, well, number one, I think that most people wouldn't really have an answer because as much as we like to admit it, we're not as policy focused as we think, but whatever. But I think the number one answer would be dental care. And honestly, man, I'm Jagmeet Singh's targeted demographic. As a Gen Z Canadian, respectfully, I don't think I could give less of a fuck about dental care. Honest to God, I'm not saying it didn't help other people. I don't give a fuck. If I had to guess, I think dental care would be number 100 on the list of things that young people want done in government. In fact, I don't even think it would come up. I actually did a poll for young Canadians about what they cared about, and the 5 most common answers I got were they want housing to be more affordable, groceries are too expensive, student loans, walkable cities, and then the 5th one was add another fucking weed store in my city. That's the exact thing we need. If I see one more startup, I'll kill a man in cold. Okay, well, that's a little bit. But besides those 5 things, I don't think young people would write any. I don't think they care about anything else. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you could have a candidate come down, go onto stage, speak in front of a microphone, and say, we need to fix what's going on in Israel-Palestine. They're not killing nearly enough of the Palestinians, but then promise to actually fix the 4 issues I mentioned earlier, and I think you would see young voter registration skyrocket. And there's not really much more to add to this segment. People keep whining and complaining about how young people never vote, but then they don't do anything to try and win over young voters. Now, I do think that if you're young and you don't vote, you're objectively speaking worthless, and it's foolish of you to complain that the system isn't being run in a way that you enjoy when you refuse to use the one tool given to you, like ever, to change the system. I mean, how hard would you work if your boss came down to you and said, I want you to go sweep the back, go clean the toilets, go make the schedule, start getting ready to close. Oh, I also need you to close tonight. Oh, and also I need you to come in early tomorrow to open. But also I'm not going to do literally anything, and under no circumstance will I try to stop you in any way or punish you or fire you or do anything to prevent you from getting paid. My guess is you probably wouldn't do jack shit. Just please, for the love of God, stop expecting young people to vote for you just because you make up 33% of the people on the debate stage who think trans people exist. It's a good start, but it's not good enough. But speaking of this debate stage, the one thing that Jagmeet Singh loves to tell people is that he's fighting for you. Not that guy, not that guy, not that bitch, not her. You. He's fighting for only you. Which is fine, but I don't like it. After Mamdani had won the Democratic mayoral primary, Ezra Klein, someone who for literally no reason at all is hated by almost all of the really invested Mamdani supporters, they hate this guy, came out to talk about him, and I actually really like what he said here. Actually, this is my Brookings article, but I really like the way they put it, so I'm just going to steal it now. The contrast between the spirit of the 2 campaigns mattered. CNN quoted a Cuomo campaign advisor saying he wasn't all of a sudden going to be warm and friendly, and his operation wasn't all of a sudden going to be warm and friendly. Ezra Klein observed, tellingly in the Times, Mamdani always seemed much more motivated by his sympathies than his resentments, and Cuomo felt to me much more motivated by his resentments rather than his sympathies. The candidates thus reversed a common stereotype. Mamdani was a happy populist, Cuomo an angry establishment candidate. I feel like after years and years and years in the Canadian political machine, Jagmeet Singh became incredibly angry, always telling people that he's willing to fight. He will fight for you. I'll fight for you. Couple that with the fresh-faced Mamdani who's able to tone switch in a way that feels genuine, but is also capable of fighting the powerful with a smile on his face. And I mean, Jesus Christ, look how big that smile is. Someone should do a study of the curve of someone's bottom lip to how popular they are in politics, because this man has the largest smile I have ever seen in New York City. The last time I saw someone smile this much in New York City, I honest to God tried to come up with a joke for that one and couldn't do it. Literally everyone who lives there hates it there. That's the thing. That's actually, honest to God, that's what my script said right there. People always say that they want their politicians to fight, but that's almost never true, especially for left-wingers. People never, ever, ever want their politicians to fight. They want their politicians to defend. And there's a very key distinction there. Just fighting, doesn't matter. No one cares. No one likes that. You need to defend. There's a difference. If you haven't done anything to hurt people, then people don't care and they don't want to see you get hurt. Which I think points to why Mamdani was able to use a style that worked on this matter. Mamdani had a soft, selective outrage, chill, that he used as a highlighter for important matters. Kind of like how you never see your dad cry when you're a child. And so like when you actually finally see your dad cry, you're like, oh, something's about to go down. Specifically the times when Zohran Mamdani actually got angry or vicious, or at Andrew Cuomo, a man who is Italian, and that includes apparently doing what Italians do best and getting off of major sexual harassment cases, or when Andrew Cuomo orientated super PACs did things that he perceived as racist. Anyway, having these moments of anger be targeted and also few and far between helped them come off as just that much more hard-hitting, and it didn't let it interfere with his overall positive messaging. But when it came to Jagmeet Singh's messaging, he just kept saying he'll fight. He's gonna fight. He'll a fighter. He'll keep fighting. He'll fight. And honest to God, when you kind of just do that, it just kind of comes off as you being angry at everything. But also there's an entirely different thing that I need to talk about right now that I really, really, really want leftists to start bringing in to their political strategy. Now, if I was to ask you how much of Zohran Mamdani's campaign is about taxing the rich, you might say, well, pretty high, obviously, right? But then if you thought about it for a few more seconds, you might think like, okay, well, hold up, maybe he doesn't. I'm here to argue that progressives, all together, everyone, should never talk about taxing the rich like it's a policy. Instead, they should tackle it as a means to an end. Taxing people isn't inherently good. It's only good if it goes to really important, valuable things like welfare for the poor, Hunter Biden's bank account, mid-crack addiction, the things that we can all agree are good. And when we talk about taxing the rich as a policy, it can come off as resentful or spiteful, because that's most likely a little bit of it comes from there. Zohran almost never brings up how he'll pay for the massive amount of things he plans to do to make everyday people's lives affordable. But he will absolutely talk about it if he is asked how he will afford the things he's talking about. And even by doing that, it's important because it changes the order of the relationship. Taxes are bad on citizens, full stop. Even if they're only on millionaires, because what the fuck? I could become a millionaire. Excuse me. I won't want taxes on millionaires, even if that means that I might have something happen later down the line that could help me, or that could fund things that would benefit me. Why would I, as the median voter, by the way, want broccoli if you'll maybe give me a cupcake? But if you just switch the order in which people take in the information, you change it completely. You'll give me a cupcake so long as I eat broccoli? Okay, nom 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 nom. I'm going to say this now to anyone who is running for anything or even plans on voting for a progressive candidate and wants to be able to see them run an effective campaign, because if you see them do this, type them, give angry emails, send them angry emails, tell them not to do it. This is a strategy I'm calling, let them ask how you'll pay for it. Please, for the love of God, people, please, for the love of God, let people ask you how you... Let people ask you how you will pay for it. Please, for the love of God, let people ask you how you will pay for it. This is something that if progressives shut up, don't laugh at me. That's something that if progressives started doing, they would win so much more. One more time for all the people in the back. I'm going to say this. If you're watching this on a second monitor, please just pay attention. Moving forward, let podcasters, let interviewers, let voters, let anyone, let them ask you how you will pay for it. Please. All of these things created the necessary conditions for the vibe or feeling that came off from Zohran's campaign. And this was the least controllable factor from the success of Mamdani's campaign. But there was, in my opinion, a moment where it felt like there was an actual chance where he could win. And from that, I think a lot of progressives my age felt like, well, hold up, this is our shot, this is our chance. This is actually like 100% of what we want. Let's show them it's possible. That feeling that the door was slowly closing, and if you really wanted to see something happen, you had to act, led people who didn't even live in New York to want him to win. I live in Manitoba, and I liked that he won. I wanted him to win too, frankly. I liked the Brad Lander guy, but I'm being serious. I probably would have voted for Zohran. But it was a ranked ballot, so I would have voted Lander first and then Zohran second. And I need to emphasize this. He's not a normal politician. Do you know how hard it was? This is so minor. I'm mentioning it now. Do you know how hard it was to make the thumbnail for this video when his campaign logo, at minimum, has all three primary colors? I had to get the logo I ended up for using this from the goddamn press kit. But that like last act, this is your one shot, do not miss your chance to blow type vibe contributed to his campaign success undeniably. But besides all of that, the real reason he won, in my opinion, is the fact he shoved both a microphone and halal food up his fucking throat in the most unhinged way possible. The real reason he won is because he looks like a dork. The real reason he won is because he raps like my dead grandmother, Mrs. Bones on the beat. It's because he's the first ever politician who truly feels like they have grown up in the internet age and knows how to communicate on it. And that's what makes this the hardest rule for the NDP to follow. Zohran Mamdani is authentic. The one thing out of everything I've said so far, the most important rule is you need to be authentic. You can't just have a politician talk about affordability and then have them constantly posting to TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. I feel like I need to harp on this because for an organization that is supposed to be in touch with the working people of Canada and the everyman, they do a really horrible job of being in touch and seeming like they care. To any future NDP candidate watching this video, please, for the love, come up here, buddy. For the love of God, take the advice in this video, but do not take the style. Implement the strategies I've laid out in this video, but do it authentically to you. If you're not that much of a happy person, that's fine. Own it. That's not that big a deal. Who cares? Please, for the love of God, join the Discord down below. Woohoo! I worked that one in good, didn't I? Thank you to all the members here. Please consider becoming a YouTube member. Like them, they're fine people. And think about all the cool emotes you can use anywhere you want for $3.99 a month. That's a steal. These are some of the funniest ones. Huh? Yeah. But that doesn't change the fact that the best way to support me is to join the Discord. It's the first link in the below. Join the Discord. It is the best way to support me is just join the community. I think your brother dresses you funny. Bye-bye.